Hello crafty friends, I interrupt Dinosaur Week to bring you your regularly scheduled CSI layout. This month's case file is probably my favourite yet. It's a really laid back colour palette. Oh, scary face in the mirror paper. Sorry about that. Yes, it's a really laid back colour palette of a kind of jadey, blue-y, greeny colour. That's very specific, isn't it? Along with black, white, sand, and a soft sagey green. Now my closest match to that sagey green was some green vellum doubled up. Singularly it's a bit too pale, but doubled up it's spot on colour wise. So I've gathered they're all solid colours, no pattern involved here, and dyes. I'm going die cutting crazy. I've matted my photo on this mirror paper, and it's really weird because the glue's just sliding around. It took a good half an hour for it to stop wiggling. I've done my die cutting, I'll talk about them a bit later, and I am grabbing a stamp. The stamp set is an old one from Concord and Ninth, and it's got these 3 stripes in it, and I'm going to use my black ink from Pink Fresh Studio and repeat stamp these stripes to make my own piece, essentially, of patterned paper. I'm double stamping each time to get a really, really bold black. Using my misty markings, grid lines and whatnot to, I'd say, space them evenly. They're not evenly spaced, but you're not going to notice unless you study it. I'm cleaning my stamp up with, oh dear, I forgot what it's called. Ultra Clean, that's the one. Which I find I need to use after using this Pink Fresh ink. And just a tiny bit of it, and the stamp cleans up beautifully. So I have cut that panel in half. I'm working on A4 as that's what my current albums are. And I'm trimming the stripes so that the uppermost and the lowermost stripe is black. Doesn't quite stretch the entire page, but that doesn't matter because my photo's going in the middle and will cover the gap. So, to the die cutting. The thin frames are from Heffy Doodle, and I stacked them and joined them with washi tape. So it's actually cut. So one die cuts a frame, and as they're nesting, and I've taped them together, I've got 3 intentional die cuts plus the 2 bits in between, which are perfect frames as well. So I have my solid sagey cardstock and the vellum. I'm going to get in an awful sticky mess. I am going to adhere 2 of the vellum frames together. Now, to begin with, I'm trying to use as little glue as possible because vellum's a bit finicky and glue will show through it. I used too little glue and it didn't stick together. So I go back in with a bit more, again spreading it out as evenly as possible so that it won't show too much. And at this stage it's not showing, it doesn't show badly at all, and I'm really happy. I'm also really sticky. I have a little glass pot of talc on my desk, and I dip my sticky fingers in talc frequently during the making of this layout, and it just takes away the tackiness from my fingers. Also makes everything smell nice. But that's yeah. Anyway, I am placing my circles around the page. I'd like to say there was some method or planning. There wasn't. I'm just spreading the circles out. I'm having some going off the edge. I'm having most of them overlap in some way. One will go over the bottom, one will go over the top of the layout and be trimmed off. Now I come to sticking the vellum down, and where it goes over the black and the white, the glue really, really shows. I pull it up and I take as much of that adhesive off as possible, and then realise I haven't really got any other option. I'm going to have to put this one back down. Where the glue is underneath, it does show. I'm going to cover that with embellishments later. On the others, I only put the adhesive where it's going onto the plain white cardstock, and that doesn't show too much. It's where it's going over the black you're getting more contrast, and the glue was showing badly. So on we go, sticking down circles. As you can see to the left, I have also die cut some starfish and some anchors. The CSI file was quite beachy themed. My circles were inspired by the life ring. There are also anchors and starfish kind of shapes on the file. The black and white stripes were inspired by the swimsuit on the file, and obviously my photo as well being beachy. I struggle a little with the embellishing. The image in the case file is quite breezy and airy and light, so I didn't want to embellish too heavily. However, I knew I needed to give it some sort of embellishment. So I faff around a little, I play, I see what looks good where, I try and spread things out, I try to have some things on the left and some things on the right, and then I decide that largest open circle will house my journaling, and there'll be room at the top of that for a little cluster. So I have 5 clusters because an odd number. And again, I'm getting all sticky, a bit more talc. I'm just dotting the backs of my die cuts with a little bit of wet glue and popping them in place. I have, down the bottom, tried my best to cover up the worst of the glue show through. There you can see the, kind of see the case file, and I'm just checking and seeing what I need to add and get a few more ideas. I decide I need a bit more of the sandy colour, and I'm going to do that with thread. I don't have the perfect match, but a combination of 2 threads split into 3 strands each and then joined together will give me the look that I'm after. These threads are going to go through the top of the anchor, and then I'm going to spend more time than I'm willing to admit fiddling and faffing, trying to get them to lie in nice tangles. You wouldn't think that tangles were so difficult to achieve. A tangle is messy, but I had to get it the right kind of messy. So I played quite a lot of the time. Don't show that on camera because my head was in the way the majority of the time. And I then call it done and come back 20 minutes later and add a seagull because it seemed to be calling for something else to make that cluster the main feature. The seagull was an acrylic piece by Bramble Fox. Do check out the CSI community and the rest of the design team. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.